Welcome to qnawire.
Okay, so here's h of t, and we're going to find its derivative. And this problem is probably about 1 part calculus and 3 parts algebra. We're going to pay real close attention to detail here. So we have a product. T plus 1 to the 2/3 is a factor, and 2t squared minus 1 cubed is a factor. So we're going to use the product rule, which is the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So let's get going on that. So the first would be t plus 1 to the 2/3. The derivative of the second, we would use the chain rule here, bring down the 3, and raise 2t squared minus 1 to the second power. That takes care of the derivative of the outside. And then multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of 2t squared minus 1 would be 4t. Okay, so far we have the first times the derivative of the second. Now we need plus the second, 2t squared minus 1 cubed, times the derivative of the first. And so we're going to use the chain rule on that as well. Bring down the 2/3 and raise t plus 1 to the negative 1/3, and then multiply by the derivative of t plus 1, which is just 1, so I won't write that. Okay, so we have the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, now we want to see this answer as two terms. This is one term, and this is one term. And we want to look for what we can factor out of both terms. Okay, so one thing we notice is that we have a 2t squared minus 1 squared in one, cubed in the other. So we can factor out 2t squared minus 1 squared. Now, is there anything else we can factor out? Well, take a look at t plus 1 to the 2/3 and t plus 1 to the negative 1/3. When we're factoring out, we always factor out the least, the smallest of those, and the smallest of those would be t plus 1 to the negative 1/3. So how do you factor that out of t plus 1 to the 2/3? So let's do that off to the side. T plus 1 to the 2/3 is equal to t plus 1 to the negative 1/3 times what? That's really the question. T plus 1 to the what? So these exponents have to add to 2/3. So the 1 in the box here would be 3/3, or 1, so that the two exponents could add to 2/3. Okay, so if we factor t plus 1 to the negative 1/3 out, we're going to be leaving t plus 1. So let's go back and write what we have left in the first term, all of that. What we have left is t plus 1 times 3 times 4t. Now, what do we have left in the second term? So we have factored out 2t squared minus 1 squared, so we still have a 2t squared minus 1. And we still have a 2/3. Okay, now let's see what we can do to simplify this third factor. So we're keeping the first factor as it is. We're keeping the second factor as it is. And now, suppose we distribute. So we would have 12t times the quantity t plus 1. So that's going to be 12t squared plus 12t. And suppose we distribute the 2/3. So that's going to be 4/3 t squared minus 2/3. Okay, so we have some like terms we can combine, the 12t squared and the 4/3 t squared. All right, so here's the step we were just looking at. We're combining these like terms. And now for our answer, we have 2t squared minus 1 squared times t plus 1 to the negative 1/3 times, when we add those like terms, we get 40/3 t squared plus 12t minus 2/3. Okay, so you may or may not be required to do all that simplifying. As a matter of fact, when I looked at the answer in the book, I saw something very similar with slightly less simplifying. I think it was something like, for the third term, it was something like 2/3 times a quantity t, 2t squared minus 1 plus 12t times a quantity t plus 1. So same equivalent last term compared to what I have, just not simplified as much.